With new first home buyer incentives, invest interstate or buy locally with no stamp duty?
That one can go either way. Depending on the person's scenario and what their long-term and short-term goals are. Unfortunately, it always comes down to that question, but like saving on stamp duty is a big thing if you are very, very short of capital, very, very short of cash. Like if you've only got $20,000, $30,000, then most likely you might be better off by trying to buy in the same state to save on stamp duty. However, it really depends on how much capital you've got. If you've got 50, 60, 70,000, well then I would just go down the investment route, forget about the stamp duty, and that's exactly what I've done. Like I've never personally had a stamp duty exemption ever in my life. I've always had to pay stamp duty. I've probably paid $4 million worth of stamp duty in my life. Like that is fucking insane. And that's the first time I ever thought about it. I've easily paid over $4 million in stamp duty, probably more than that. The building that we're in, the stamp duty for this building was $550,000 worth of stamp duty. I've never been able to get around stamp duty, and if you've got enough to do it with stamp duty, to pay the stamp duty, then I just would pay the stamp duty and keep it as and buy it as an investment, because if you don't buy it as an investment and you go down the stamp duty route, technically you have to live in it. And if you live in the property, then you're not getting rental income anyway. If you're not getting rental income for, let's say, 12 months because you have to live in it, as an example, and the property was going to rent out for $600 per week, $600 per week over 52 weeks in a year that you have to live in it is $36,000 per year in rental income that you do not get. So if your stamp duty that you saved was only 20 grand and you're going to forego $36,000 worth of rental income over that 12 months, then it doesn't make sense at all. So 9 times out of 10, pay the stamp duty and just get in the investment market and buy and invest property first. But it really depends on the person's situation. If they need a place to live, if they're moving out home, if they're renting, or depending on where they're actually buying and what price point. If they're buying property for 500,000 or 400,000, whatever, and they're just going to use it as a stepping stone, then yes, it might be okay to do that, but unfortunately it depends.